Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. We are the Gaming Stooges.
I'm Jack.
You can call me Cloud.
And I'm Landon.
We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and if you do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, or joining our Discord. Let's get on with the show.
You know, I had a thought the other day. Is it supposed to be Tears of the Kingdom, or is it Tears of the Kingdom?
There are tears in that kingdom.
There's also
That's
tears.
what I was.
There's tears.
That's
in
what
the
I was
kingdom.
thinking about.
I feel like it could be... Imagine years from now, Nintendo just says, yeah, it was actually Tears of the Kingdom the whole time.
I could see that happening, and with that, it's more Zelda time. You guys ready to talk about more Zelda?
Yeah.
I guess.
Part 2.
Part 2. It's so way back during season 2, we did a Zelda Part 1 podcast, and unlike the Mario one, the 2D Mario one, we did not follow it up right away with the other half. So we're coming back in season 3 to do the second half of these Zelda podcasts. We've got 11 more games to talk about. Last time we left off on the end of the Wind Waker, and now we're going to go from Four Swords Adventures, spoiler alert, that's the first game we're going to talk about, all the way to the most recently released mainline game, which is Echoes of Wisdom. We have opted to skip the spin-offs and side games because those can come in another podcast. There's plenty to talk about with those as well.
I just want to...
Third half of this series.
Third half, right?
I just want to point out that Echoes of Wisdom came out between the last time we talked about Zelda and now. So the list has only grown in the time that it's taken for us to get to part 2.
It should have been 10.
Yes, indeed.
Now we're doing 11.
Yep.
So just as a refresher, I have notes. I have like a structure that I follow for each of the games that we talked about, where we're going to go over their original release, what other re-releases that game may have had, the main gameplay features and focus, and you know what the game is basically about real quick. And then that can be like a couple different points. And then we've got the stages or dungeons, whatever those are. And then just end off before we get into the wider discussion, just the sales figures. How well did the game do? So without further ado, now bear with me, I have not played a lot of these games that are coming up, so I took notes as best I could, matching the same structure I did for the first half. So if I missed stuff, we can talk all about it by getting deeper into the discussion. So let's just jump right in. We got Legend of Zelda Four Swords Adventure.
2004, baby, let's go.
Released first on Nintendo GameCube in North America June 7th, 2004 to be precise. And it is the only major console Zelda title, not the only Zelda title obviously, but it was the only console one to incorporate multiplayer gameplay. It takes after Four Swords that was on the GBA in that regard, so it also takes place directly after it, so it's a sequel. So you got Vati coming back as the main villain, and just like Four Swords, you got the ability to play it with up to 4 players, and there's an addition of formations for the links to take on in battles, so even if you don't have like your own, even if you don't have like 4 people, you can control them as like a CPU and like a formation sort of thing. And as mentioned, it is on the GameCube, but if you're doing like multiplayer, you got to get everybody else on GBAs, so you got to get like the link cables support things, and it's, yeah, remember when they advertised that as like a main feature of like the GameCube? They were like, you can connect your Game Boy Advance to it.
Fuck yeah.
I want to, real quick, just a fact check. Four Swords Adventure in the timeline does not actually take place directly after Four Swords. Nintendo claims it takes place after Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nintendo claims.
Yeah. It actually goes...
That was partially on me. I didn't mean directly after, but like it is after Four Swords.
It is after Four Swords.
For some reason there's Twilight Princess in between those after they like confirmed like the timeline. It's very weird.
Yeah. But we won't talk about that anymore.
Yeah. So the game, I don't remember if I mentioned this in the Part 1 podcast, but it does have an arcade style. When I was talking about Four Swords, I should say, it does have an arcade style of gameplay, so it's not like open world Zelda like you're typically used to. You've got a bunch of different stages, and they are broken up into chunks. And now I'm going to name off all of them, and my voice is going to be kicking my ass by the end. Stages include, you've got the Whereabouts of the Wind, which is Lake Hylia, Cave of No Return, and Hyrule Castle. You've got the Eastern Hyrule stage, consisting of the Coast, Village of the Blue Maiden, and Eastern Temple. You've got Death Mountain stage, consisting of Death Mountain Foothills, the Mountain Path, and Tower Flames. You've got Near the Fields, which is the Fields, the Swamp, and the Infiltration of Hyrule Castle. You've got the Dark World stage with Lost Woods, Kakariko Village, and Temple of Darkness. The Desert of Doubt stage with Desert of Doubt, Desert Temple, and Pyramid. You've got Frozen Hyrule, which consists of Frozen Hyrule, Temple of Ice, and Tower of Winds. And finally, the Realm of the Heavens, which is Realm of the Heavens, the Dark Cloud, not to be confused by the video game Dark Cloud, and the Palace of Winds. The game did not sell well, though. It only sold a little over 750,000 copies. That is worldwide sales.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's just get out of the way. This game, in order to play it in its full majesty,
The way God himself intended.
requires way too much fucking shit.
Yeah.
You need a GameCube. That's already tough. Jeez. A copy of this video game. Double tough. I guess a memory card is optional, but memory card. 3 friends, impossible.
Yeah.
4
3 friends willing to play this game.
Like I said, impossible. 4 Game Boy Advances, or Game Boy Advance SPs, and 4 of the GameCube to Game Boy Advance link cables.
Okay. Four Swords Adventures, if you have all of the pieces there, which I never have to this day, still can't get 3 friends.
No.
But
I've got
you have
1 friend.
yeah, that's how much I've gotten to.
Yeah. It was you.
Yeah.
You were my friend.
Yeah, I was alluding to the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is fun. Like, the concept is really cool, how it, like, switches between the screens. It's like the proto Wii U in that regard.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. You need to get a lot to get the full experience for this game. And that's why it sold like piss.
I don't have much to contribute to this discussion tonight, so I just want to point out, if you thought that, like, it was really... Like, Nintendo just had a weird thing with the GameCube where they're like, if you want the full experience, you also need, like, a bunch of Game Boy Advances and link cables for this. Like, Pokemon. A lot of people talk about Pokemon Gen 3 and the GameCube stuff. I mean, you could still play all the games individually and be fine, but if you want the full experience, yes, you need all those extra stuff, but for this Zelda game, you need all this just to play it.
No, you can play it single player.
Yeah.
All right, you can play it single player.
Single player.
That is true. I did mention that.
With a GameCube controller. So if you're playing single player, you can play with this GameCube controller. You don't need a Game Boy Advance and link cable. But as soon as you introduce one other human being into the equation, you need to start having link cables and Game Boy Advances and the willingness to love another human. So,
and it is like the focus is the multiplayer. Like, you could argue like you still get the full experience with just by yourself, but no, you don't. Honestly, this game was like, it was marketed as a 4-player multiplayer experience, and that's why there's 4 links on the box art.
Sans the multiplayer, the game it's fun, but like it's like, I would say, a middle of the road like Zelda.
Yeah. With
the multiplayer, even like one other person, like I really enjoyed when Jack and I played like a stage or 2. Like,
yeah, we didn't get very far because it was like, I think my last day.
We were playing it after we had already like 100%ed Kirby Return to Dreamland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, sort of like, let's just play it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, and
now,
it's good.
I want to ask, so like, it was really cool that you got Zelda Four Swords, on the NSO. Do you think they'll try to get this to work on NSO?
They
Because I think it'd
absolutely
be
need
cool.
to.
It would be really
Like,
cool.
I think
Like this game like needs to be on the GameCube app at some point, because I don't know how there's no other way to play this game nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
what, try to emulate it, but even that's like a fucking hassle because you need so much already.
I think this would be a game that like could help sell the Nintendo GameCube NSO app. Like this would be a game where it'd be like, hey, you want to play some really cool multiplayer shit?
I would buy the expansion pass if I didn't already have it just to play this game, like,
Right?
through one time. Like, it's an experience I wish I could have before I leave this mortal coil.
I back up Al's sentiment in the chat. Don't be cowards, Nintendo.
Yeah, just fucking
Let's
do
get
it.
it done.
This is like this is one of my top 3 games I want on the GameCube app. One of the other ones is Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, but that's for another discussion.
Yeah. Jack, do you have any extra stuff to add before we move on to the next game?
Not really. It's Four Swords Adventures.
Okay. Next game we're going to talk about is The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap.
Hey, good answer,
got-
Steve.
We got this game that came out on the Game Boy Advance in North America on January 10th, 2005. Was also re-released on the 3DS through the Ambassador program, so only for ambassadors. And it was also re-released on the Wii U Virtual Console and on the GBA Nintendo Switch Online app. So there are ways to play this now, including literally right now if you own a Nintendo Switch and have the subscription service tier for it. So it's accessible. It's in the supposed timeline. I don't remember how far back before it goes, but it is before Four Swords and Four Swords Adventure. And
It's
again,
literally
we got
the game before. It goes Skyward
Swords.
Sword, Minish Cap, Four Swords, and
Gotcha,
then
okay.
Ocarina of Time.
And then it splits
Gotcha.
off.
Then the split. Yeah.
All right, and that of course we got Vati as the main villain. We also have the introduction of the character Eslo, who is the eponymous Minish Cap that Link will wear, and he can shrink down to a tiny little size, which makes the overworld traversal really unique because there's different moments where you can switch sizes between the being tiny and being regular sized. But otherwise, we've got your hallmark mechanics and gameplay style of like Link's Awakening still, like the other previous Game Boy Zelda games coming back. And just like Link's Awakening, this game actually does have some Mario references. There's like Bob-ombs, Spinies. You got some set pieces that are in Mario games that are in like parts of the overworld traversal and like dungeons and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of dungeons, we've got Deepwood Shrine, the Cave of Flames, the Fortress of Winds, the Temple of Droplets, the Palace of Winds, Dark Hyrule Castle, and a mini dungeon in the Royal Crypt. And it sold over 1.75 million copies worldwide, so almost 2 million, not quite, so not too bad. I played a little bit of this game. I don't know how much of this you guys each played, but
Oh, I love this game.
Assume I have 100%ed every single game, and I will let you know otherwise.
okay.
Yep.
So,
I've 100%ed this
I mean,
game before.
Yeah,
So
same.
gotcha. Okay. So, how do we feel about the Minish Cap?
I fucking love the Minish Cap. It has
This-
been a long time since
Ooh.
I've played it. It's been since I played it on the Ambassador program, like over a decade ago. But if you asked me to pick a favorite 2D Zelda, I would say this one by a fair margin, I would say. I love this game.
I would say this is either my second or third. Oracle of Ages is my number one 2D Zelda. It'd be like between this and Link's Awakening remake. Would be like in contention for the second slot, just because Link's Awakening base game is like solid, but that remake just like brought it up to modern tier of like
Yeah,
really well.
that's
Minish
where I'm
Cap,
at.
in and of itself, does not really need that remake to bump it up. Like it, like
Not
even
necessarily.
like a decade ago, like almost 2 decades ago, like this game has been out for like almost 20 years, and it's still
It's
like
over 20 years, actually.
yeah, it's been
I was gonna ask if you
Great.
guys, when you said 2D, if you meant just like top down in general.
Yeah,
Because,
just like
I know that
any like top-down Zelda game,
Gotcha.
I would
Actually-
consider like 2D.
no. I'll take that back. I really like Echoes of Wisdom. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I would say those three: Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, and this are like contenders for the second slot of
wow,
favorite
not a Link
2D.
Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds is good. I would probably give that a like. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
It has
But,
it has
Get
some
to it.
faults that I would put it like slightly under some other stuff, but like it's another really good game.
Yeah,
I just like
So,
this.
yeah, I will say-
franchise, so it's like
yeah, true. I will say, I don't have like the strongest memory of this game because I played it for the first time like a really long time ago. Like I was still like a teenager, so this is like almost 20 years ago. And I only played a little bit of it when I got back to it on the 3DS Ambassador program over recently, and I forgot to get to it. But like what I played of it, like I really enjoyed. I thought it was neat how like just switching back and forth between the tiny and being big, and like the little like towns and villages you can go to like feel like pretty full of life. Like I did really enjoy like just running around and like talking to characters and NPCs and stuff like that. It was like I like the world setting of the Minish Cap, I think, more than anything else.
it is a very fun and bright, vibrant world. I do like the main gimmick of like becoming small and investigating stuff, because it takes like a choo-choo and makes it a boss, like something
Yeah.
that you wouldn't
Yep.
like is just a normal enemy becomes like a massive threat, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
And the mole mitts are a fucking awesome like item,
Yeah.
the ones that let you dig. Yeah,
This will, I haven't looked at the poll since yesterday, but this will most likely end up being my next stream title.
Oh, that's hype.
Yeah, currently Minish Cap
despite what I
is-
try, it'll probably end up being his next
Minish
game
Cap
title.
is currently leading 4 votes to 2
Damn
against
it.
Pikmin 4.
Wow.
I'm trying. I'm gonna
Landon
tell Kare to go fucking
Lennon,
vote for Pikmin 4.
Lennon used both his own account and the Gaming Stooges account to vote for Pikmin 4. Everyone else voted for Minish Cap.
Damn, I forgot to use the GamingStooges account because I just used my actual like regular account, because I was
Mhm.
like, that was the one I was logged in, and I was like, oh, I gotta vote for Minish Cap.
It's the abuse of power I can afford, because I know the game is going to lose. I know Minish Cap is gonna be the winner. So it's like, well,
So
Make it less of a landslide.
I am excited to revisit this one, I will say.
yeah. I've been thinking about playing it again too, so it'll be fun to watch Jack play through it.
So look forward
Right.
to those streams.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts on the Minish Cap?
Nah, we'll save
Guys
it
got
for
any
when we
favorite?
we'll save it for when we actually stream the game.
Okay. The next game is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which did come out on both the Wii and the GameCube, but there was a little bit of a staggered release. It came out on the Wii in North America on November 19th, 2006, and would come out later on GameCube in North America on December 11th of the same year, 2006. And on top of that, it also got an HD re-release on the Wii U called The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Surprise, surprise.
Now here's the game I want on GameCube NSO.
Yeah. So the Wii and GameCube versions it's interesting because they're mirrors of each other. The Wii had to flip everything visually in order to accommodate the fact that Link, normally left-handed, needed to be made right-handed because the majority of actual human beings are right-handed. I am not one of those human beings. I am actually left-handed. But
Not the case in Japan,
Yeah.
actually. Japanese
They
version.
didn't do that for Japan.
Yeah, Japanese versions of this
Interesting.
game are like normal because most people in Japan are left-handed.
That's so weird.
That's awesome.
So yeah, fun fact, does not apply to the Japanese version, and the North American version is normal for most of you guys, weird for me. But yeah, and of course, because it's the Wii version has motion controls as well. This game, famously, you can transform into a wolf. This game also has iconic characters like Midna and Zant, and I thought this was just a little fun fact, so I wanted to add it in. This game, I forgot, it requires 5 pieces of heart to make a whole heart container.
Yep.
That is weird.
There's a lot
I
of
just wanted to point that out.
There's a lot of heart pieces in this game.
A lot of fucking heart pieces in this game. Jesus.
Well,
100%ing this
it's a
game
good-
is going to be fun.
Have fun.
It's a good thing that there's enough dungeons to accommodate for this, because we've got the Forest Temple, the Goron Mines, the Lakebed Temple, the Arbiter's Grounds, Snow Peak Ruins, Temple of Time, the City in the Sky, the Palace of Twilight, and Hyrule Castle. And we've got one mini dungeon in the original release and a second one in the HD re-release. We've got the Cave of Ordeals, and then the exclusive for the HD re-release Cave of Shadows, which I don't know how required it is, but I know that it has ties to the amiibo that was released with it. So it's interesting. And if you accommodate for all of the releases, Wii, GameCube, and HD re-release, Twilight Princess is one of the better selling games in the series up till recently, with 10 million copies. So pretty big milestone, actually.
Sure, most of that was actually the Wii version, but yeah.
Yeah.
Most of that is the Wii version.
I would bet at least 85% of that is the Wii version.
I will go on the Zelda sales wiki page that I found that I was using for data, because you guys seem to be very interested in that. So let me just refresh that, because fandom sites are garbage.
Yeah,
They are. I really...
Oh, it doesn't say. It just has a combined figure between the Wii and GameCube together, and then the Wii you re-release separately, which the Wii and GameCube together sold 8.8 million units of that.
So, and the GameCube was not very many of that 8.8 million. I want to say that the GameCube version sold like less than... Don't quote me on this, but I want to say less than 500,000. Because by that point, everybody was just going to buy it for the Wii, because everybody was getting a Wii in late 2006.
We're hoping to get a Wii.
Yeah.
I have one of the notations, actually. As of December 2014, the GameCube version sold 1.43 million units, and as of September 2023, the Wii copy sold 7.5 million units. So
all right.
The vast majority.
Still, that's way more for the GameCube than I was expecting.
It's a Zelda title.
Yeah.
It is a Zelda title.
So
but I mean, for a game that came out on like that came out after the version of the predecessor or successor, I should say.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, pretty good. I love Twilight Princess. It's been forever since I played it, but a lot of people claim that Twilight Princess is just like ripping off of Ocarina of Time. And I don't necessarily agree with that. It has way more shit going on in it than in Ocarina of Time. It's way bigger than Ocarina of Time, and also, I don't know, man. It's like I've always thought that this felt like feels like its own game compared to Ocarina of Time, but also I like it more than Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, that's fair. I say is like that's probably I also like it more than Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
I mean, thematically, it borrows a lot from Ocarina of Time, because as far as like 3D Zelda goes, it's like a return to like the setup that Ocarina of Time
it definitely like copies the blueprint of Ocarina of Time, but like
it's way more than Majora's Mask or Wind Waker did. And that's sort of like, that's where I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's just Ocarina of Time again. Even though it's
but it's really not.
I think it's not fair to I think it's not fair to Twilight Princess, because it's like, when you think about it, aren't Majora's Mask and Wind Waker like structurally drastic departures from Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess?
Yeah.
And Ocarina of Time was already just the first and only 3D Zelda that just took the traditional style and made it 3D. So it's like not fair to tell Twilight Princess, oh, well, Twilight Princess is just ripping off Ocarina, but like Ocarina was just building a 3D version of the typical formula.
I mean,
that's not fair to Twilight Princess to just be like, oh, it's just a copy of that one game.
If anything, it's a more refined version of Ocarina of Time.
I will say my biggest positive point for Twilight Princess, because it comes with quite a bit of baggage for me, and I played it multiple times. I do enjoy it. I would give it like a middle tier if I'm like looking at the entire Zelda franchise, but also like a lot of 3D Zeldas.
There's a lot of good Zelda games.
There's a lot of good Zelda games
in general,
and like I'm a little less on some of the 3D ones than I am the 2D ones, so there's that. The combat in this game, especially as you like get all of like the move set fleshed out, is fantastic.
Yeah, this has like
the parries, the shield bash, the finishers, like all of that. It has style, it has grace. It is so fun to play.
I forgot to mention in the notes, but yeah, this is like a very combat-centric Zelda, but I've heard good things about that like aspect of it.
It has like easily my favorite combo system in any 3D Zelda game.
I would say absolutely. Not even Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are able to like get the feeling of just straight sword play that this game was able to like put
out. Absolutely.
I can't refute that. Like, I've heard from a lot of fans, like, the Twilight Princess is, like, the peak when it comes to combat. Like, if you're trying to get, like, just the best feeling swordplay in the series, like that's the one to look to. It is.
So, I agree with Jack that they should also put this one on NSO for GameCube. It would great for people to experience it. I also want just a port of both the HD versions of this and Wind Waker to the Switch 2, I guess now, because it'd be nice to get them in their cleaned up full resolution.
Yeah.
The downside to this game, though, probably not going to happen because there's so much fucking Miiverse support shoved into it that.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about that? Because I don't know anything about that part of it.
So
good to get into.
They introduce stamps that you can collect in the game to then use in Miiverse posts. So similar to how, 3D World, Super Mario 3D World, you can unlock a stamp. They're like actual physical stamps that you collect in the world that you can do stuff with. So it's like an extra collectible that they added. So yeah, it's neat for when Miiverse was alive, but as soon as Miiverse died, it's like, oh,
who cares?
Yeah, it's
hashtag bring back Miiverse.
Hashtag Miiverse 2, baby. Let's go. So it they would have to strip all of that out, and it's a little bit Wind Waker makes a little bit easier job because all you have to do is remove a bottle, and that's pretty much it. Whereas this is they have to redo a bunch of stuff. So
that's
it's a bit harder of a port.
Now, for my baggage with this game, I fucking hate the first half of this game because it's a fucking mess of between human form and then locked into wolf form and then having to hunt all of the bugs of light that are all around.
Yeah.
I absolutely do not care for that part of the game, and it's half of the game. And then when you get to the back half of the game and you can just switch between Wolf Link and regular Link, human Link, then it's fine. It's the game is a lot of fun, but it's that first half.
The game
first
really,
almost.
I will say, the
3/5.
game is like pretty heavily railroaded in the beginning, which is unfortunate. But like the
many
game,
games at that time.
the game just
Yeah.
like locks you into a path that you pretty much have to go on. And it'll lock you into like Human Link, it'll lock you into Wolf Link, and you like have to do like a specific task before you can continue.
And I hate hunting for those fucking bugs of light. It is such a
Yeah.
tedious section of the game, and it's like 3
There-
times. You have to
there's-
do it 3 fucking times.
There's a reason I've never 100%ed this game.
That's fair. It is real. It's real big tedium.
Yeah.
But the combat, like, is like phenomenal. So like, it makes up for a lot of like the shortcomings of this extra gritty Zelda.
And I love the
Yeah.
dungeons in this game too.
The dungeons are pretty good.
I think the dungeons are pretty phenomenal. Like,
There's some really solid ones, and
like the temple of time and the city in the sky. I remember
Yes.
really liking both of
those
those.
ones are really good. The snow, like the manor, is pretty solid.
Snow Peak
'Cause
Ruins.
it's pretty different from anything
It's like-
else in the series.
It feels like Resident Evil more than Zelda.
It does. It really does. I don't
Resident
care for-
Zelda.
I don't care for the water temple in this, and I mean that's like,
Yeah, I mean, fair,
but it's not
Surprise,
a bad,
surprise! The water temple.
It's not
in
a bad
Zelda.
water temple.
it's not. It's a lot better than Ocarina of Time's Water Temple, I will say.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still not a great water temple.
It does
but yeah.
do a lot of the same kind of shit with like raising and lowering the water level. I just think it's like a little more straightforward with its like puzzle solving.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because
You don't
instead
have to
of
go
being like
through-
the 6th dungeon in the game, it's like the 3rd.
And it's balanced a lot better for that. So
Yeah.
If it came later, it would probably be awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Now,
All right,
oh no, we're not done talking about this game.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we have not talked about the fucking hook shot, the double hook shot, and the Beyblade.
Yeah.
This game has
Beyblade?
some awesome items that are
You
very
get-
unique to it.
You get 2 hook shots and you can fucking like that's one thing you get that in the City of the Sky, I remember, because you
get the
do a
second
lot
hook
of
shot
like
up there, yeah.
yeah, because you like do a lot of like aim a hook shot at the ceiling and then you'll like raise and lower yourself to a certain point and then you'll like aim your second hook shot at a different part of the ceiling, and it's like it's crazy. And there's like nothing below you because it's the city in the sky, and it's like it's really cool.
And you can
And
use them
the-
for combat.
And the Beyblade.
And the Beyblade. So there is an actual
Yeah, what is this Beyblade?
there's a top spinner that you get in the desert dungeon that you can use to like Link just jumps on top of it and it spins around and like it goes forward and it can attack things. But
Yeah,
also
you can,
there's like grooves and walls to like follow him and stuff.
Yeah. It's like kind of a
literally,
spin. It's kind of a spinning gear almost,
Yeah.
where like you use it to like hook yourself into like divots into the wall and like take yourself up to new areas. And you can also just like ride it around wherever. Like it's cool as fuck.
But it's very momentum based, so like it will peter out after a little bit if you don't have like some of those grooves and stuff to deal with. But it's literally a giant top that you just
Also-
stand on top of.
Snowboarding minigame.
Snowboarding minigame. Snowboarding.
That's all I got.
All right.
The Hawkeye.
Oh.
You can add the Hawkeye
Oh,
and the arrow, and you can basically make a sniper.
oh yeah, yeah. Or you can.
Bomb
Wasn't
arrows.
this the first game to have bomb arrows? Or like, no,
Wind Waker had.
Wind Waker had bomb arrows.
Well, it had like ice and fire arrows, but
Okay. But no, this is like, because like you can like combine and attach items to other items. So like you can add the Hawkeye to the bow and arrow to make like a sniper. You can add bomb arrows. You can add bombs to your arrows to make bomb arrows, and you can just like, phew, and it'll explode whatever it hits, and it's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun creative stuff in this. Too bad it's literally just Ocarina of Time 2. So
Too bad.
2 out of 10.
All right. Any final words on Twilight Princess?
Now let's talk about Amiibo.
Oh boy.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
The next game that came out was The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. We're going to the DS with this one.
Oof.
Released on Nintendo DS in North America on October 1st, 2007. And was re-released re-released on Wii U Virtual Console.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I almost said Wii released.
Hell yeah.
We released?
Yes. God. So this, I don't remember how long after, but it does follow the Wind Waker timeline-wise. I don't know if there's anything like in between it.
It's like immediately.
Yeah, this one takes place like, I want to say, out of any Zelda game in the entire timeline, this is like the most immediate following the one before it.
I think maybe Triforce Heroes actually... It's like tied with Triforce Heroes, because Triforce Heroes takes place, I think, right after A Link Between Worlds. But it's still like, you're playing as the same Link from the Wind Waker. And it's like, after you sail off from the Wind Waker in the credits, like, this game takes place.
Yeah, this game literally starts up where the Wind Waker left off.
Yeah.
And being on the DS, it is a very touch screen heavy game where you'll be able to control Link on the overworld with the stylus, and it is another top-down game though otherwise, so it's a little bit similar to previous Zeldas in that regard. But with 3D.
This is
it's supposed 2D, but it does have 3D graphics, and it is the first of the handheld Zeldas to do that. So
this is the first RuneScape type Zelda game where you
point
and click where your character goes.
Oh no! I don't know if that's a good thing.
Spoiler alert. It's not great.
You know what? I never hated the touch controls in this game.
It's not bad, but it's
not ideal. But
let's let them finish.
Yeah, go for it.
So we've got a bunch of dungeons in this game. The Temple of the Ocean King, which I have heard a lot about.
Ooh, we'll get into that.
Spoiler. Yeah. The Temple of Fire, Temple of Wind, Temple of Courage, the Ghost Ship, Goron Temple, Temple of Ice, and Muto's Temple. And this game has sold 4.76 million copies on the DS worldwide. So, not too bad. That's pretty good sales-wise. And got a bunch of temple dungeons. So, how do we want to discuss this touch screen controlled Zelda game?
Well, I think Jack and I already opened it up with the literal controls for this one.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it.
I've 100%ed this game. So
this is a game that I have not 100%ed.
Really?
I'm missing one piece of art from the archery game.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's tough.
It is.
Oh.
It is. And I never really had like that much of an issue with the way this game controls. It's pretty like you click and drag to tell Link where to go. You tap on people to talk to them. You like swipe to do your sword attacks. It's pretty intuitive. Obviously, I would have preferred button controls in a lot of instances. Like, I could understand using touch controls for like certain items, but they were really all in on controlling Link entirely with the stylus and not using anything else.
Yeah, it's fine. I enjoyed the game. It's definitely not one that I would necessarily rank super high, the overall grand scheme of things, but it is a good time. The biggest issue a lot of people have with it is the Temple of the Ocean King, because it's a temple that you come back to over and over again. Like, you will make some progress in it and then leave and do some stuff and then come back and then like start over again.
That's what I was hearing.
And
it is every time you complete a dungeon, you go back to the Temple of the Ocean King and you have to start from the beginning every time. But every time you do the Temple of the Ocean King, there's like a new section. Every time you return to it, there's a new section of it added. And you need to start from the beginning and work your way down every single time.
Yeah. So,
and it is annoying. It is actually the sole reason why this game does not rank much higher for me, because I really like this game outside of that. Like, it's a pretty fucking solid 2D Zelda game.
You know what this reminds me of?
The story is fun. Linebeck is like one of the best characters in the franchise.
He's great.
He's fantastic.
This just reminded me, so like the Temple of the Ocean King is basically like a much more poorly executed version of Mementos from Persona 5.
Yeah.
Because it's introduced early, you have to keep coming back to it.
Yeah,
unlike Mementos, you don't get it paced out the way you want to. You have to do it the way the game wants you to.
It's crazy how easily that problem could have been solved just by adding checkpoints and like letting you continue from where you left off the last time you had to do the Temple of the Ocean King. Like that is literally the single fix that this game needs.
They fixed that in Spirit Tracks because they have a very similar concept.
Yeah,
and
they do.
They just go, okay, now you can quick warp to the next section. You don't have to replay like 5 floors after beating the 6th dungeon, so you can go deal with the 6th floor of this nightmare dungeon. So
yeah, like I would still consider this like a good Zelda game overall. Like I really enjoyed it, but
the other dungeons are pretty solid from what I remember.
Yeah, it's really good.
And
outside of the Temple of the Ocean King,
there's a notes app. Basically, you can like scribble stuff and leave notes for yourself about certain stuff, so you can like help solve puzzles and stuff, or like you can draw on the map and like chart out your the boat, because you have a boat in this game. It's the fucking sequel to the Wind Waker. There's a boat, and like you can leave notes on that map as you're like exploring around and stuff. So like those aspects of it are a lot of fun and like add some value to the game. But like it's the one dungeon. It's really just the one dungeon that like really holds us back.
Yeah,
it's like how Twilight Princess is held back by the first third of the game with the light, the bug light shit, and being railroaded into each like phase of like either human or wolf link. Like this game's like biggest bane from like giving it that push into like just the next step of the Zelda game is this dungeon, Temple of the Ocean King.
Literally.
All right. Any further thoughts on? I mean, you guys talked about the Temple of the Ocean King, but anything else like sticks out like positively at least in this?
I like Lineback.
Yeah, you said honestly, he liked Lineback.
Honestly, it has been a very long time since I played this one as well. So I don't remember too much of it, but
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you guys, this being a touch screen oriented Zelda, like, is it a lot more basic when it comes to like puzzle solving, or are there actually like a bunch of different items that you solve puzzles with that are just done in like really like weird way? Like, how does that work?
There's a lot of, they're like
limited on like your like equipment, because it's just like boomerang, bomb shoes, regular bombs, bow, grappling hook, hammer, shovel. That's like your main stuff, and then they add some other stuff, and I think Jack was going to get into that.
It's not a crazy amount of stuff, but they do some like pretty unique shit with the touchscreen, like how you can, like with the boomerang, you like draw the path that you want it to take, which I think is
cool.
Pretty cool. Like you like equip it and Link is like ready to throw it, and then you like draw like where you want it to go, and you can just have it like, and I think that's a really unique way to use an item that's been in the franchise for a long ass time.
Am I thinking of Spirit Tracks, or does this game also have like some puzzles where you have to blow into the microphone?
I'm pretty sure this game has that too.
Okay.
One puzzle that really, really, really sticks in my mind, because I was fucking stumped on it as a kid. Like when I looked it up, I was just like, what the fuck, are you kidding me? The one where you have to close your DS and then reopen it so that you can copy the stamp from the top to the bottom screen.
Yeah.
There's so many DS games that did wacky shit like that. Like that reminds me of like The World Ends With You, where in order to defeat a certain noise enemy, that's exactly what you had to do. Is you had to close the DS, put it in sleep mode, and then open it up, and then the noise would just die.
I love that shit though. Like it's a
the DS did some wacky shit.
It's a creative way to use like the hardware. Like they talk about like controllers and using that in like creative ways with like newer technology. But like utilizing like a handheld with dual screens and like a clamshell technology and stuff, like I love it. Bring it on. Like the shit where you turn the whole system upside down to evolve certain Pokemon.
Yeah, Inkay into Malamar. That was something I thought of, and I was also thinking of like the gyroscope controls to aim in the 3DS Zelda titles.
Yeah,
like just the fact that you can just use the gyroscope for stuff like that. Like, just, it is pretty cool when the games do stuff like that, and it's a way that, like, is fun. Makes it unique. So, yeah, any other thoughts on Phantom Hourglass?
That's about all I got.
We'll move on to its sister game.
Really liking the final boss, Bellum.
I honestly don't remember the final boss.
It's the squid thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah.
All right. So there was a sister game that came out a little later. We got the Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, which also came out on the DS. This game in December 7th, 2009, also got a Wii U re-release, Virtual Console. And this one takes place after Phantom Hourglass. But instead of going on a boat and sailing around, this one involves restoring the Spirit Tracks and traveling on the Spirit Train, hence the name of the game. And the dungeons include the Tower of Spirits, the Forest Temple, Snow Temple, Ocean Temple, Fire Temple, and Sand Temple. And there's also a mini dungeon called Lost at Sea Station. And this game actually sold just under 3 million copies, 2.96 million copies worldwide on the DS. So for a late era DS game and a sequel to another game on the system, not too bad.
People saw
Spirit Tracks.
People saw Phantom Hourglass and were like, fuck that shit. But here we are.
Spirit Tracks I remember beating in like a weekend.
Like
I remember playing through most of it in like a single weekend.
I remember playing it like on a family trip as well. So it's like a family trip type game.
It's like it's a shorter Zelda game.
It's not short necessarily. I just like got really in the mood to play it and did nothing but play Spirit Tracks for an entire weekend. I could check how long to beat.
I will say,
you were like, no, it was just vibes. I was just vibing with the game.
They add a couple like fun items to this game versus the other one. There's the whirlwind, the sand one, and a whip that you get. On top of like boomerang, bow, and bomb, and then there's the spirit flute, which lets you summon the fucking like do some shit. It's your musical instrument for the fucking game. Which, you know, how many Zeldas have?
There's always one.
Most Zeldas have one.
Overall, I remember not being too crazy about this one. Like, for all intents and purposes, it should just be a better Phantom Hourglass because it fixes the problem that it has with the Temple of the Ocean King. But the problem is that the rest of the game just isn't quite as memorable, or...
I think all of the dungeons, as far as I remember, are pretty solid in this. The issue is the overworld is exclusively explored in a train.
Yeah.
So, unlike, say, the Wind Waker, where
you can just go anywhere.
You can go anywhere, and you can, like, get out of the boat and explore, like, an island. This, you are locked to going in between, like, towns and dungeons, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, there's no exploring the overworld, which is a huge part of Zelda games.
Yeah, and that kind of brings it down a fair chunk for me because, like, it makes the whole world feel really disconnected because the only way, like Landon said, the only way that you can get to and from a town to a dungeon or town to a town or whatever is via a train. And all of these, like, and obviously you can't take the train anywhere. It would be cool if you did. Imagine if it was a ghost train and you could just, like, ride it fucking anywhere. That'd be badass.
Too fun.
No, it'd be too fun. So you are literally railroaded to getting from place to place in this game, and it just makes the entire experience, like, less wondrous, I guess. Like, something about,
it's less Zelda-like.
I'm not really crazy about the explorer or like the train in general, honestly.
Like, let me ask you something. If you took all of the Zelda stuff out of this game and just kept just the train aspect and the structure of, like, having the train go to different dungeons and just replaced all the characters, would you feel like this was a Zelda game?
I mean, probably not. I mean, maybe like
I'm
Zelda.
not saying that makes this game bad. It's just weird.
Maybe like a Zelda-like.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think of it as a Zelda game just purely because of, like, the way the game progresses.
It's because of the dungeon structure, it would still feel like a Zelda game, but outside of that, because that's like one half of, like, the Zelda formula is like a thing that you solve puzzles in, whereas like the other half is like open exploration and, like, the sense of wonder.
The world that you can freely explore. Like, I would argue that Okami is more of a Zelda game than Spirit Tracks is.
Damn.
Yeah.
If only our gold tier stooge Pixel Vixen was here to hear that take.
Well, she's probably listening to the podcast version of this and will appreciate it still.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, which you can do on rss.com/GamingStooges.
Yep. Or on youtube.com/GamingStooges as well.
Yeah. I think overall this game ends up at the same level as Phantom Hourglass because, like, it has a pretty negative detraction, but the dungeons are so good to me that, like, those sort of, like, balance out like that, and the fact that you don't have the one dungeon that you have to fucking, like, go top down every single fucking time. So
yeah, which of those dungeons, by the way, were you talking about is, like, the one that's kind of like the Temple of the Ocean King, but it's better?
Tower of Spirits.
Is that the Tower of Spirits?
Tower of Spirits, yeah. Because every time you like access a new floor, every time you beat a dungeon in this game, and then you, like, go back to the Tower of Spirits and, like, explore that new floor. But you do not have to start from the beginning every time.
I will say we haven't talked about it, but, like, one of the big aspects of this game is Zelda dies and is in a suit of armor.
You know what?
I forgot to mention that.
I like this aspect of the game for two reasons. One, because Zelda in this game is a really fun character. She's a ghost, and she's really sassy and doesn't take shit from anyone, and I kind of love it. And two, because I really like the mechanic where, like, she possesses the Dark Nuts or the suits of armor, and, like, you use that to solve puzzles and to, like, access areas you wouldn't normally be able to as just Link. So I think that aspect of the game is really cool.
Yeah, it's part of why I like the dungeon so much, is because you have access to Zelda as, like, a sidekick, but it also gives a lot of personality. Like, it helps balance out your mute character of Link, who in most games, like, is just like a do nothing stand-in.
Yeah.
But they give, like, the straight, like, he is the straight man to, like, Zelda's, like, shtick, whatever, her sassy shtick.
It's like Zelda is the talking fairy in this game that follows you around everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And I think that's a really, like, conceptually hilarious idea. Like, Zelda fucking dies, and she follows you around for the whole game.
I will say, I don't remember which one it is, but either this game or Phantom Hourglass actually has, like, a really fun multiplayer mode where you take control over the Darknuts and you're trying to like take gems and put them in your base before.
Oh,
like,
I think that was this game.
Yeah, I think that was this game when I was reading.
I played the fucking shit out of that with friends on like band trips. Like on the bus, we would just like DS download play this game, and like we would go like do multiple rounds of that fucking shit. And I remember really enjoying that. It was a lot of fun. One of the few like multiplayer games that was just like Mario Kart or PictoChat.
Nice.
That not right. PictoChat, but whatever that's the chat that was like in the DS. PictoChat, right?
PictoChat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are like, instead of just drawing dicks and sending those to each other, we would play this.
All right. So we're gonna talk about one last game before we split up, before we take our break, and it's a pretty big one. We've got The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, which was first released in North America on the Nintendo Wii on November 20th, 2011, and it received an HD port on the Nintendo Switch, The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword HD. Surprise, surprise. I didn't put this in the notes, but fun fact, they did release this game alongside like a gold Wii remote with like the Motion Plus bundled in. And I don't remember, does the Motion Plus is required for this game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
This is one of like 3 games that require the Motion Plus.
Yep.
Skyward Sword, Wii Sports Resort, and I think Fling Smash, if I remember right.
Wow. So yeah, we'll talk some more about that. But this both versions. Oh yeah, I skipped. So it is actually, as we've kind of alluded to before, timeline wise, this is the first game in the chronology. So it's like where all the timelines start. We start with Skyward Sword, it's the first game. And we've got iconic characters like Fi and Girahim. And you've got the iconic Skyloft location. I want to mention that because that's kind of like a really big deal. You've got the same dungeons in both versions, though. They didn't like add like extra dungeons. There's Skyview Temple, Earth Temple, Lanayru Mining Facility, Ancient Cistern, the Sandship, Fire Sanctuary, and Skykeep, and there's also several mini dungeons. You've got the Waterfall Cave, Inside the Great Tree, and the Pirate Stronghold. And this game, between the Wii and Switch, sold 7.82 million copies worldwide. Guess which version sold more? It was actually on the Switch. The Switch copy sold 4.15 million units, and on the Wii it sold 3.67. So almost a half a million units difference.
The Switch has a stupid install base, so I'm absolutely not surprised. Yeah. Also, I would like to add, there's actually a couple additional games that I did not know about that require Wii Motion Plus. B Units Build It, My Personal Golf Trainer, Red Steel 2, Wii Play Motion. That's it.
I forgot about Red Steel 2.
I forgot about Red Steel 2, but I was correct on Fling Smash.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's still a very small handful of games, but yeah, I remember just the Wii Motion Plus was bundled in with this, and like it was like you have to have this to play this game. I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, considering they sold it with a controller as a bundle option, that was the only reason why I was able to play this game.
True. That is really nice. So yeah, Skyward Sword. How do you guys feel about Skyward Sword?
Oh boy. Let's hear it, Jack.
I'll start with the positives.
Oh, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he even thinks there's positives to this game.
There are positives to this game.
Oh boy.
1. I like the art style and character designs in this game. This game has a lot of really unique and fun character designs that kind of balance out the... admittedly, a lot of the characters in Twilight Princess look like hideous, but
potatoes.
Like but I kind of love that still. But like Skyward Sword has a very like bright and pleasing to the eye art style, and it does look fantastic on the
I agree
Wii.
with Al. He says, I like how Zelda looks in this game. I think this is like one of the best looking like Zelda character models.
She's very cute in this game. I'm partial to Twilight Princess Zelda, though. That's just personal. Fuck you. That's
Rude.
personal preference, though.
Fighting words.
Let's see. 2. The music is good. I like the music in this game. Yeah, like objectively.
To it on the Nintendo Switch Online app. Or not the Nintendo Switch Online app, the Nintendo Music app that you need a Nintendo Switch Online membership to use.
The music is all really great. I still remember songs from this game, even though I haven't played it in years. 3. The dungeons in this game are pretty fucking fantastic overall. Like, I do really like, in a vacuum, the dungeons in this game have some really cool puzzle solving and some, like, the use of the items in this that they give you in this game is really fun. There's some unique ideas going on in some dungeons. Like, overall, solid collection. Everything else about this game sucks.
I'm surprised you said that many good things about the game.
I want you to get into some specifics. Like, what are some things that really frustrate you about this game?
Oh, let me take a shot at that before he even says words.
Oh, okay, all right.
The level design outside of dungeons, because like there's not really an overworld. It's like you drop down and go into an area, and you have to explore that area to get to the dungeon. They're not interconnected. You have to go from the sky down to the ground to specific points.
Put it down to the ground. Yeah, no, I kind of hate how this game progresses, honestly. It kind of has the same problem that I have with Spirit Tracks, where you have this big overworld that you can explore in the sky, and there's not really that much there. Like, there's some stuff that you can find if you fly out and about the main town, but there's not really a lot. And also the flight controls are kind of ass.
That brings me to point number 2 for him.
No, okay, let me talk. I'm talking about the way the game progresses. So, like, every time you, like, get to the next section of the game, like, you start off, you, like, drop down into the ground world out of the sky, and you explore a small, condensed area. You find the entrance to a dungeon, do the dungeon, go back into the sky, rinse, repeat. And I don't really like that, because it makes the game, despite how, like, large and grandiose the game presents itself, it makes it feel a lot smaller and claustrophobic just because of how, like, little room there is to explore. And also just the short, small areas that they have in front of every dungeon just don't feel super well thought out to me. It's just kind of like, here's a small sandbox with some enemies, go solve this puzzle. Alright, now go into the dungeon.
It sounds almost like an arcadey kind of game trying to pass off as an open world-ish game.
That's pretty much it for that. Yes, I do hate the way this game controls, but it's it's really less about the controls, because, like, yeah, the Wii Motion Plus, the whole gimmick behind this game is that this was, like, the first game. Actually, wait, which came out first, this or Wii Sports Resort?
Well,
I think it was Wii Sports Resort,
okay.
because I was gonna say this. Okay. So this game was bundled with, I believe, the Wii Remote had the Motion Plus built in. And the Wii Sports Resort came out at a time where they just introduced the Motion Plus, and it was an attachment.
This was actually the last Wii Motion Plus required game to come out.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Because it was 2011. End of 2011.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
What year did Wii Sports Resort come out?
Really weird.
Wii Sports Resort, 2009.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's way earlier than I thought.
We played.
Yeah, no, like, I don't.
2011. But
the Wii Motion Plus aspect of this game is not bad. It's shoehorned into like literally every aspect of this game's control scheme. Like any item that you might have, like utilizes the Wii Motion Plus in some way, whether you have to point, whether you have to whip, whether you have to swing,
Like
whatever.
The
bug where you have to fly with. Yeah, I remember the bug.
Swimming.
Swimming. Oh my fucking god, the swimming controls in this game are so bad.
Oh, you just unlocked a core memory that
I
Jack
can
did
make
not
so
wanna remember.
bad.
I can make all of Jack's points for him,
You don't have to. I can
No.
say them myself.
but it's more fun if it comes from me.
But genuinely, the combat in this game is such a massive downgrade from Twilight Princess. Because Twilight Princess has like one of the best combat systems in the entire franchise, and then here's Skyward Sword where you have Wii Motion Plus, and fighting an enemy feels less like actual combat and more just like waiting. Because you'll have like a bokoblin or something that's like holding a shield, and you gotta wait for him to like move it to one side or move it up or move it down or whatever so you can attack the opposite direction that he's not holding the shield. Or like you have the fucking plants, the bokoblins. I already said that.
The Deku plants.
The Deku plants, yeah. Which have like that quad opening mouth, but only opens like either vertically or horizontally, like one way at a time. So it's like a mouth opens vertically. It's like, okay, you gotta swing down. And it's like, it would be fine if it was just like like all of these enemies just like went down in one hit, but a lot of the time like combat just feels like a fucking slog because you have to stand there and just wait for the enemy to move in a certain way so you can attack in a certain way. And it's just not fun.
I'm getting the sense that the combat in this game sounds like they just added like a puzzle aspect to fighting enemies, which on paper sounds great, but in execution it's like, this is too much.
It's slow and tedious, in my opinion. I just want to swing the sword and kill things. Which there are enemies that you can kill by doing that, but they really want you to like think about the way you're swinging the sword instead of just doing like.
You're like, sometimes I don't want to think. I just want to swing the sword.
Exactly.
I will say, I think the Switch release fixes some of that.
So yeah, I wanted to say, did you guys want to talk about the Switch release? Because I
don't think either of us. I haven't played it.
I've not played it either.
So like, I can't.
So the answer is no.
But from what I understand, the Switch release fixes some of that aspect because you have far more control over it. Now you still have to do a little bit of waiting for any of the enemies that require waiting, but because you can just put the inputs in, like you can just swing the sword a lot more.
Yeah.
So I had a friend who I remember talking to her. She's like a big Zelda fan, and like she actually likes Skyward Sword, bless her heart, but she I think I remember talking to her when she got because she was really excited for Skyward Sword HD. Like she got the Joy-Cons and everything. Like she was like, I like this version of Skyward Sword so much better. And I was like, okay, that's good. It's good to hear. So yeah, I mean, someone that already liked Skyward Sword saying that they like the HD version better, that means that the HD version must be pretty good, at least playable.
This game also has its own version of the Temple of the Ocean King. Granted, it's a much more condensed version, and instead of being a dungeon, it's a boss fight that you have to fight every time you complete a dungeon. But holy fuck, I got so sick of fighting that goddamn, like, I don't remember what the thing was called.
Giant,
the fucking, like,
gross
goblin
toenail guy.
Oh, it's the same boss?
Yeah, the toenail guy. You have to fight him like a bajillion times over and over again. But every time he just gets like a slight upgrade, so he's like a little bit tougher, but it's like it's the same fight every time, and it's so boring. I hate that shit.
The Imprisoned is what he's called.
The Imprisoned, that's what it is.
He's a giant.
I remember
that motherfucker.
I remember seeing images of him going around.
There is no section of any Zelda game that I hate more than collecting the sacred tears in this game. When they make you go back to each main world, like each main, like ground level world area.
Three.
By the way, there's only three. There's only three in the entire game. You have forest, desert, lava. And each time you explore a small area in each one, and then you go back and do it again. And then, after that, you have to go back to each one a third time so that you can traverse the area and collect these sacred tears. But God forbid that you accidentally, like, step out of the light for too long, because you'll get, like, alerted by these, like, fuck you, kill you in 2 seconds guards that will follow you everywhere. And there's like a million of them that you have to collect, and there's like 4 different levels, and they take forever, and it's so frustrating because the controls in this game aren't great, and traversing these areas sucks ass. God damn it.
Speak your truth, man. So I assume that the 3 layers, that means that there's like one of each of those layers has one of those mini dungeons, because I remember counting 3 when I said there's Waterfall Cave, Inside the Great Tree, and Pirate Stronghold.
So yeah, the dungeons are like split up into, like, you go to an area and then there's like multiple dungeons in it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I will say you only have to fight the imprisoned 3 times.
Is it only 3? I could have swore it was more than 3.
It's only 3. It
so
feels
it's
like
3.
more.
It's one for each of the layer areas.
It's like groupings of the game, but yeah, like you only have to fight him like 3 times, but it's still very tedious because not much changes between the fights. He grows hands for the second part, and then he has wings for the third part, but it's still like you have to beat up his toenail. That's his weak point to damage him. You attack his egg toenail. Yeah, that's why I said he's the toenail guy.
That's gross.
Yeah. I'm a contrarian, and I had a time with this game that was slightly more positive than our friend Jack. The only thing I can say is there is 2 boss fights in this game that I absolutely love. There is the final boss, Demise. Spoiler: it's not Ganondorf. It's Ganondorf's dad or whatever.
You can distract him with the fishing rod.
You can do that.
Or the bug net.
Same as you could in Twilight Princess with Ganondorf, where you could pull out the fishing rod and distract him with that. You can do the same thing here. But it's a very cool sword fight. It's just like you're in like
I will say
a thunderstorm cloud, and you are fighting him in the sky.
I will say the final boss of this game is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, that is one thing that they really stuck the landing on in this game.
And then 2, the other boss fight that always really stuck out to me is, I think he's Colopatus. I don't remember how to say it. It's the giant golden statue with the 4 arms. And like it's a straight up, it's a sword fight where you will knock his sword out, and then you'll pick it up and you'll just start beating him up with his own giant ass fucking sword, and it's a lot of fun.
It's great.
Some of the other boss fights are cool too, but
you have to fight, what's his name? Like the Demon Twink. What was his name?
Demon Twink.
Griham.
Oh, Girahim? Oh, that's who Girahim is?
Yeah. You fight him like 3 times. You fight him 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a mix of him and the giant toenail.
Am I wrong though? He is absolutely a demon twink.
He is a demon twink.
I didn't think about that until you said it, but now that you said it, I can't disagree with you. Like,
I know a lot of people have issues with Fi, whatever.
I didn't even mention her. And you know what? I don't even think she's one of the game's biggest problems. She's just this game's fairy, and she talks like a robot. That's fine.
But I just wanted to bring it up because I know some people out there will be like, "Well, you didn't mention the blue bitch."
She is one of this game's smallest problems, quite frankly. Like, she's a little annoying sometimes, but man, it's kind of overblown. And that's coming from me, a Twilight Princess hater, a Skyward Sword hater.
Is
said the
she
wrong
as
game.
annoying as Omo Chow?
No.
No.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
already that's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So I'll just say I enjoyed the game. It's nowhere near, like, it's not a super high game. I won't go out of my way to defend it. The combat's okay. Anything after fucking playing Twilight Princess is just like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna stand around and defend the combat. The dungeons, like Jack mentioned, they're all pretty fun, especially the last one, which is like a puzzle box dungeon where you actually shift the rooms around. Like, you have like a little tablet and you can actually like change the rooms, so you can like explore it like differently.
It's like a sliding block puzzle.
Yeah, but that physically changes the actual dungeon.
Yeah. No, that shit's cool.
Yeah.
I think the vinyl dungeon in this game is really cool.
So there's a lot of cool stuff, and this game is held back by the fact that it is a giant toenail that you have to fight multiple times.
Also, it has Beetle. This game does have Beetle and
have-
Groose.
So
You cannot deny.
it's not awful.
I wouldn't even say that I hate this game overall. I just feel super indifferent towards it.
You're just a disappointed father whose child came back with a C-.
Like, cause I totally bought into the hype on this game because I was so fucking excited for this game when it was like when they were fucking showing it off, when they were talking about it. I was just like, oh fuck yeah, like a Zelda game with more focus on motion controls. I think that's cool. I totally bought in, and like all of the reviews when it came out were like, with the exception of GameSpot.
Yeah,
with the exception of GameSpot, that is the one review that was like even remotely negative towards Skyward Sword before it released, and it was a 7.5.
It wasn't even negative in the
It
grand
wasn't
scheme
even
of things.
negative.
Yeah,
they were just one of the few. They were just one of the few places that did not give it like a 9.5 or higher. Like this game had like what, a 96 on Metacritic or some absurd number.
It's not that high, I don't think, but I know it's high. Like like you said, like GameSpot was the one major outlier, and there was a frenzy online with people like going on about how GameSpot was supposedly like there was something wrong with their critic review or whatever. And it's funny because like nowadays it seems like Tom McShay, I think, was the guy that reviewed this game for GameSpot. Like, he's probably closer to the general opinion of Skyward Sword than anyone else was at the time.
First of all, it has a 93 on Metacritic. I just looked. Second of
all,
like one user score as well.
Every time I think of that meme that's like, they hated Jesus because he spoke the truth, I think of that review of Skyward Sword when it first came out.
Yeah.
The Switch release has an 8.1 critic review and a 7.5 user score.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. It's by far my least favorite 3D Zelda game. Like, I would play any of the other 3D games before this one.
I would probably put it above Ocarina of Time on principle.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 5 more games to talk about. But before we do that, because we're going to have quite a bit to say about these 5 games, let's take a quick break to do some housekeeping and talk about what our social media and all of our other platforms and stuff. And Jack is going to take over for this one. Both Landon and I know I'm going to get up for something, and I assume Landon will too.
Hey, everybody, it's me. Right now on GamingStooges, currently on twitch.com/GamingStooges, I just finished up streaming Backyard Baseball 97. The Blue Bummers won the Ultra Mega Championship of the Universe, or whatever the fuck they call it. Undefeated season. Congrats to them. Landon just finished with... Or no. Was he doing something? No, yeah, no, okay. He was just at Balatro and Wingspan before. Lennon just started Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Trees Woe and the Blight Below. And he's doing that on Saturdays. Cloud just recently started Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster. He's continuing with the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series. He's doing that on Thursdays and Fridays next week. We still got Ace Attorney Dual Destinies for the billionth time, because the game is forever long and we're slow. Let's see. More than likely, my next stream title is going to be The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. If the poll on Patreon is going to stand, which I assume it will. I don't think anyone's going to change their votes. So look forward to that in the future. We got Patreon. We got patreon.com/GamingStooges. We have the Silver Stooge tier at $3, where you can vote on various polls and get updates on the channel. There's the Gold Stooge tier. What's that?
Speaking of the Silver Stooge tier, oh my goodness, that's a hard one. Silver Stooge tier on Patreon. We have a new poll coming up. It'll go live, I don't know, whenever Cloud puts it, but it should be like active at the time this goes out to stuff, where you can vote in an upcoming whatever it is, podcast topic. It is between, drumroll please. Thank you. It is either puzzles in non-puzzle games or MSO. So yeah, that's coming up. All right, back to the scheduled ad read.
We have the Gold Stooge tier, where for $6 a month you get exclusive content, videos that we make. Most recently, we did a ranking of the best Clubhouse games, so you can go check that out. You also get a shout out. Currently, our only Gold Stooge tier, or Gold tier Stooge, is Pixel Vixen once again. We have a Discord.
Not easy
What's
to
up?
say. It's not easy to say.
Gold tier Stooge.
Tier Stooge. It's not
Gold
easy.
tier Stooge. We have a Discord where you can join and talk at us whenever you want, and maybe we'll talk back at you
Or with us.
But you can join it. I promise we're friendly. There's not very many of us, but it's chill. We have fun.
You mean not many of us, as in the three of us?
I mean, like, active members of our Discord.
I don't know. There's a few people.
I mean, like, we have, I would say, I know this is the ad read, but, like, we have maybe, like, 8 active members of the Discord.
That's pretty good.
And, like, out of, like, 30 total people in
That's
it.
really good.
It's pretty good.
No.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Cloud to come back, so, hey, Landon.
Did you already talk about current streams?
Yeah, that was the entire thing I did before talking about Patreon.
Oh, did you mention the game I'm streaming?
Do you mean Dragon Quest Heroes, the fucking... Hold on, I gotta pull up the name. The Wind Trees Woe and the Blight Below.
The World Trees... The
World Trees Woe and the
Blight Below.
It's such a long name.
It is.
I did say it earlier.
Fantastic. That's all I care about.
Okay.
See? We killed enough
Cloud's
time.
back.
Look at that. I did it.
Hell yeah. What's up, Cloud? What do you have for us?
So I took a little bit of extra time because I forgot I had to feed my cats. But
Okay.
I also got some
got chopsticks.
Spicy salmon kimbap.
That's not
Sushi.
Tillamook.
Sushi.
That's not Tillamook.
Chocolate chip cookie dough. Fuck yeah.
More of that.
Damn, I kind of want some sushi.
It's pretty good.
Oh, sorry. Just, drinking out of my Tillamook camper mug.
Well, that's what you've
What do
been
you-
drinking out of this whole time.
What do you have in it, Landon?
Black tea.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, because it's a thermos, like a thermal mug.
Yeah.
All right, so Jack, you already went over everything.
Yep. We're
All right.
good.
So we're going to jump back in. We got 5 more Zelda games to talk about, and for the most part, quite a few. They're pretty much all going to have quite a bit to talk about when we discuss them. So let's start with Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds came out on the Nintendo 3DS in North America on November 22nd, 2013, and returns to and expands on the world that was experienced in Link to the Past. So you've got the return of Lorule, and it introduces the ability to merge into walls. You can go into the wall. You become wall. And the dungeons, like in Link to the Past, they span both Hyrule and Lorule, and Hyrule has Eastern Palace, Tower of Hera, House of Gales, Inside Hyrule Castle, and Desert Palace, and Lorule has Dark Palace, Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, Thieves' Hideout, Ice Ruins, Turtle Rock, and Lorule Castle. And this game sold 4.26 million copies on the 3DS, so pretty respectable showing. Ahead of Spirit Tracks, but behind Phantom Hourglass, but only by a little bit. So, I did not get to play this game. This is actually one of the Zelda games that I really want to get. I just never get around to getting it. But I know Landon's played this a lot. And what about you, Jack?
I have played this game. I did not 100% it. I think I really need to return to this one because I feel like the playthrough I did was kind of like quick and didn't really think much about it. I remember enjoying it. I don't remember much about it. I'm put on the spot here. I don't fucking know. It's been like 12 years since I played this game.
How is this on the spot? We've been working
towards
this podcast.
You guys are eating, and I'm the only one that doesn't have food, so I'm here forced to speak.
I can stop eating whenever I feel like.
Okay, Landon.
So, Landon, you want to tell us about Link Between Worlds? Because I'm sure you probably have the most to say about this game.
I don't feel like stopping eating yet.
All right, we're going to move on to the next game.
No. I'll put my Tillamook down.
Don't do that to Landon. Landon likes this game a lot.
I do. I enjoy this game. Which is funny because I have faults with the A Link to the Past.
The predecessor?
Yeah, the predecessor game.
It's funny, we talked about this back on our last podcast, but you were, I wouldn't say you disliked it, but it was you were surprisingly critical of that game.
I am very critical of that game, and I feel there's 2 reasons. I'm definitely, I play to my bit, which is I'm a contrarian. I have to be the opposite of popular opinion. And if popular opinion
being good is a popular opinion.
Yeah, if The Link to the Past is good, then oh boy, I'm going to be extra critical about it. But also, I like A Link to the Past. In the grand scheme of things, I would rather play that game than a lot of games. So, and the same I can say for Ocarina of Time. So, it's not like I hate these games, but I'm going to be extra critical because so many people will, rave about them. A Link Between Worlds does still have some of the same faults I would say I have with A Link to the Past, but it still is it's a very fun game. The main gimmick of this game is not just going into the wall. I would say that's part of one of the 2 main things. The other big thing is dungeon item rental. So you don't actually get the items from dungeons like you would in a normal Zelda game. There is a shop. You can go in and rent it. like rent one, or you can like pay a bunch of money and like buy it flat out. But you need some of these items in order to explore dungeons. So like you have to like either switch your rental out, or you have to like grind money to go into and like buy it eventually.
Interesting.
So there is that aspect, which is fine because then you can kind of tailor your gameplay to how you want to play the game. But because of that, once you get to the to low rule, all the dungeons can be completed in any order, which means all of their difficulty is relatively like the same. So like the difficulty curve for the game does not like increase as you do more dungeons. It's
So
basically
it plateaus, and then that's basically it.
pretty much until you get to the final boss, and then there's like it goes like a little bit. So, but it's like it like starts up and then it plateaus for a long time because that's where most of the game is. Like A Link to the Past, a lot of the game is in the low rule section, and then you have the little bit at the end. So like, and that is one of my like big things about, I would say, A Link to the Past is like a lot of the dungeons can be done like in any order. It's very dungeon heavy. This game dials that back a little bit, so it's not super dungeon heavy. There's a lot more to explore in the world. There's a lot more personality to the world. There's like more characters to interact with, more story going on, especially with the low rule residents and their whole thing going on there, which is the point I like. And I do really like the like becoming a like painting and all of the puzzles that deal with that, because there's a lot of fun puzzles that deal with that. And there's just like a lot of fun like 3D aspect puzzles. There's like some like certain dungeons where you can see the floors below you, and like you can use the 3D stereoscopic nonsense to like give yourself a little bit more aspect to it.
This game had a little bit of a actual use of 3D because this was before they stopped doing that.
Yeah, so like there's a little bit of that. So like I really enjoy this game. I think it looks really nice. And like the core like 2D Zelda gameplay loop is fairly fun. I do put it over A Link to the Past, mostly because it like fixes a little bit of A Link to the Past. It's not without its own issues, but it's still a really good time.
Okay. Did you want to add in anything, Jack? Now that Landon's had a chance.
I need to play this one again. Honestly, I
do too.
It's been a while. I remember really enjoying this one. I remember not being crazy about the rental system with the items, but it is like a pretty neat idea and like a unique way for this game to progress, but I need to play it again. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Yeah.
The next game that we're going to talk about, released on the 3DS in North America on October 23rd, 2015. The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes.
Totem.
Item.
This game, it's another multiplayer focused centric Zelda game. It's similar to Four Swords and Four Swords Adventure, although you have 3 links instead of 4. But you can connect over like Wi-Fi and like play with people that way, so that's pretty cool. We'll get into more of like the details of the actual game, but I just want to rattle off the stages because it's a Four Sword style game. It's another arcadey game with a bunch of levels, and they're broken into sections. So we got Woodlands, which contains Deku Forest, Buzz Blob Cave, Moblin Base, and Forest Temple. The Reverse. I think I meant to put Rivers. Yeah, Riverside. I don't know why I put Reverse. Not reverse like R-E-V-E-R. No, like R-I-V-E-R-S-E. So Rivers. Riverside, Secret Fortress, Abyss of Agony, Cove of Transition, and Water Temple. We've got the Volcano taking stage, which consists of Blazing Trail, Hinox Mine, Den of Flames, and Fire Temple. We've got the Ice Cavern, which has Frozen Plateau, Snowball Ravine, Silver Shrine, and Ice Temple. So a lot of these end in a temple. The Fortress, which has Sealed Gateway, Bomb Storage, Training Ground, and the Ladies' Lair. The Dunes, which has Infinity Dunes, Stone Corridors, Gibdo Mausoleum, and Desert Temple. The Ruins, which has Illusory Mansion, Palace Noir, Lone Labyrinth, and Grim Temple. And the Sky Realm, which has Floating Garden, Deception Castle, Dragon Citadel, and Sky Temple. And there is a bonus mega dungeon called the Den of Trials, which has levels based on like all the previous levels. So, yeah. Triforce Heroes, to the time of this podcast, the most recent of the multiplayer style Zelda games. Will we get another one day? Who knows? Item.
I didn't play this one that much, honestly. I played it like a handful of times with Landon and Justin back in the day, but it wasn't one that we really went back to very much. I think we had maybe 3 total playing sessions for this game.
I actually played this game from start to end, single player.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
I'm not
What
surprised.
did you think?
I remember
Because I never did.
I think I played it with Landon and Justin as well before Jack had like joined in to play, and like I just never went back to play it again.
I bought this on
Well,
launch day.
But
so
I mean, because we couldn't anyway, because it's only 3 links. So
I think it was just like you weren't there one night, Jack.
Probably.
It's probably like that's just you know normally how it goes.
Yeah.
This game's fine. It's like so one big aspect of this game is actually costumes. Like costumes give your like character like different abilities and powers and shit.
Hell yeah, brother.
And that's like a big part of the game is like the queen or princess or whatever like had her like fit stolen, so she's running around in like a sock or whatever.
The plot for this game is kind of goofy.
It is, but it's because it's mostly a multiplayer game. So the issue is playing it single player. Yeah, you can do it. It's fine, but it's like we said about anything we said about Four Swords Adventure, like not playing it like in a multiplayer setting is a little rough. That said, like if I remember right, you like had to go back to the like you had to, after you beat a stage, you have to like regroup every single time to like enter the next like.
Yep, I do remember that.
Yeah,
It was a pain in the ass, and I
So-
think that's the reason why I didn't want to play it anymore, because I was like, we have to. This is like
Yeah.
I remember not liking that.
So it's like for a multiplayer game, you can't just sit and like play through like if you could play through like 4 stages, like if you just went through like the whole woodland area and like went all the way through that, or the option to take it like to like dual break or something, that would make sense. And I get it, it's a handheld game, so like they want to like appease people that just want to like play quick and like drop in drop out, but like it's very tedious when you like want to sit there and actually play it online. I did play it a little bit like local multiplayer with some friends, and I think that's still an aspect, but it's still like it's a very tedious aspect. So it's like easier to play through a single player, but like you're still missing out on the experience of like a multiplayer game playing it by yourself. So
right.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's another one of those kind of games. Did we have anything else to add, or we want to just jump in? Because we still got 3 more games to talk about, and boy...
Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I would
So we
say
got-
overall it's fine, but there's a reason why it sold like piss comparatively.
Yeah, only 1.36 million copies on the 3DS. So, yeah, not a lot. It somehow did better than Four Swords Adventure, but I mean, that is a bigger install base, so that's
Bigger
probably why.
install base and like ease of playing multiplayer.
True. So,
The requirement for Four
It-
Sword Adventure is a nightmare.
Exactly. So the next game is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, released on both the Wii U and Nintendo Switch on the same day, March 3rd, 2017, so it did not have the same issue as Twilight Princess. At the time of recording, we haven't actually gotten it yet, but it is receiving a Switch 2 edition with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Surprise, surprise at the name there. We've got, of course, it's Breath of the Wild. You got all these unique mechanics that we all know at this point Breath of the Wild is known for. You've got a fully open world that is like, more open world than basically any other Zelda game before it. And rather than have like large scale dungeons, you've got tons of little shrines all over the world map. Although there are a few dungeons, they have like a theme to them, but I'll talk more about them in a second. But you've also got cooking, you've got weapons that degrade. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff here. As far as characters go, I think the most iconic probably are the 4 champions. You've got Urbosa, Daruk, Mipha, and Rivali. And we've got the dungeons, which are also a set of 4 and a 5th one. So they are the divine beasts. So you've got Va Meadow, Va Ruda, I might be butchering these names by the way, Va Rudania, and Va Naboris, and then the final dungeon is Hyrule Castle. DLC though did add 2 more dungeons, each half of the DLC added 1. You have the Sword Monk's Shrine, and then the Final Trial is literally what it's just called in the other half, the Final Trial. So yeah, the worldwide sales for this game so far, because they can still go up with the Switch constantly selling copies, 32.62 million copies on Switch, and fun fact, 1.7 million copies on Wii U. It outsold the GameCube version of Twilight Princess. So, yeah. I think that's a pretty big deal, actually.
I'm the guy.
You're the guy. You're him. You're him.
I'm him. I'm the 1.73 million. I did it.
So yeah, Breath of the Wild, we reviewed this game, but a very long time ago, like after it came out.
Long time ago.
Basically 2017 when it was just out. So let's go back and talk about Breath of the Wild. This is the Zelda game I've spent the most time on by far.
I'm so glad we're at the last of the retro Zelda games, and we can actually talk very soon about modern Zelda.
Oh, jeez.
This game's 8 years old. It's a fucking it's a retro icon at this point.
It's already a pretty old game.
And guess what? You can spend $70 on it
for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Yep.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Oh.
But yeah, putting aside the Switch 2 edition thing existing, I mean, this is my favorite Zelda game. That's not saying much because I don't have the experience of Landon or Jack when it comes to Zelda. But I really like this game. I don't think it's not perfect. There's definitely aspects of it where like the next game we'll talk about literally is on paper a better game, just outright. But I mean, I like it just for the fact that it was. I mean, part of it is like Switch 1 launch bias where like it was the game to play, but I don't know, I just feel like it has, just the open world is just the atmosphere of the game is really fun and just really just like they got the vibes. I know it's a stupid word, but like the vibes of the game are just really nice, and like there's all these little just like nods to previous games throughout that I thought were really cool. Just kind of like it doesn't like do it's not like entirely like trying to be fan service, but it's trying to like bring continuity, because spoilers, this is like the game that like Nintendo was like, all right, now we got to do a whole freaking timeline. So
actually they did the whole timeline before this. They did it for like the Hyrule Compendium.
Yeah, and this is like is this the game, or is there another game before it where like now all of them merge back down?
I don't think it's actually like Nintendo canon, but this is like placed at the bottom of the 3 timelines, so it is the merge. But yeah, I don't think
like that's what they claim. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like when it came out, they were just like, yeah, just slap it at the bottom. So like we don't know. Like after like 20 years from now, when there's like 5 more Zelda games, for all we know, there could be like another split in the timeline that they have to address like a bunch of games placements. So who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think that's my biggest praise though for the game is just the atmosphere and the open world are a lot of fun. But like, yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna say it, so I'll just put it out there. The dungeons, they're fine, but
Can
like
you even call
they
them
have
dungeons?
yeah, so they have the same aesthetic, and they don't have the longevity of a typical Zelda dungeon. Like they're still dungeons, but like, are they though? It's like it's one of those things where like I guess by this game's standards they're dungeons, but by like the larger scale they're mini dungeons still.
They're like put 2 shrines together and call it good. That's what it feels like.
And it probably doesn't help that like usually in Zelda games when you have all of these dungeons, there's like unique bosses at the end. But the bosses in this game are literally just like 4 different versions of Ganon.
Yeah, it's the same dude. It's the same dude times 4 with like an element
it's,
difference.
Yeah, it's not like as bad as like the whole like imprisoned thing, I'm sure, but like it's still like it's the same dude. So like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's I mean it's pretty bad. I'll say Breath of the Wild is fun. Like exploring the overworld and everything. I had a great fucking time playing this game.
Oh yeah.
And I played famously the Wii U version. I guess you could say this is another game I never 100%ed because I did not bother getting all 2 bajillion Korok seeds because that's nonsense. Don't worry about that. But,
yeah, I'm never going to 100% this game.
But
no, me neither.
As far as literally everything else, minus the DLC, I really didn't play the DLC, but
I don't know how far you got in. I did everything for the Master Sword. So like the first half of the DLC, the Sword Monk trial, I did that whole thing and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was like a really I think it was like the dungeon that Breath of the Wild needed because it's way better than like any of the main game dungeons. But
I think I got like halfway through it.
I like the challenge because like it tests you on all of your knowledge of the game because it's like assumes you're going to do this after you've already beaten the game. So like it tests you on everything you know about the game, how to interact with the physics, everything. Like it's really great. But I never did finish the second part of the DLC. Like because you have to do like these 4 songs for each of the champions. And I think I got like one of them and I was on my way to doing the second. I got lost. I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. And I just never went back to finish it. So.
Perfect. No notes. The game's big, which is
it's huge.
And yet small.
Yeah. So we'll get to it, but like this is a massive game. When it came out, it was absolutely massive, and I spent 90 hours on the main game, and then another like 50 hours on the DLC.
I played this game literally for a month straight. Like it came out on March 3rd, and I think I was playing it all the way up to the end of that month. Like
I was basically playing this all the way until like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out.
Yeah, well, some of us were playing it not on the Switch, so thank you for shaming me. Listen, there was no reason for me to buy a Switch to play a game I could play on the Wii U. Absolutely none. But now here we are. I can never access that save file, so whatever.
Yeah.
So even if I
the way
wanted
it
to,
goes.
even if I wanted to, I can't even like play the deal. Well, I can. I own it on the Switch. You know, here's something fucked up. The Switch 2 edition of this game does not include the DLC.
That's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up. You'd think we'd like for $70 I should have the whole game, including.
And here's the funny thing:
including the AI system.
the DLC was $20, so like you can't just give the $20 DLC. Like it's not even like a huge expansion. Like you can't just give the $20 DLC to the 8-year-old game being ported to the next.
No, this is
I'm good.
it's literally a
I'm
$90 game. If you want to play Breath of the Wild on the Switch 2 in its complete form. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to complain too much. The game itself,
it's really good though.
the biggest, so the shrines, love the shrines. I love the ability to just like go out, explore, find a shrine, do a puzzle, and like accomplish something. Work my way towards expanding my hearts, work my way towards expanding my stamina.
It's just a fun gameplay loop.
It is. Cloud said it. The dungeons suck. Some of the, like, it's the worst set, I would say, in a Zelda game. And I'm not even talking about the number of dungeons, because Majora's Mask also has 4 dungeons. And those 4 dungeons are some of the best dungeons in the franchise. Like,
Yeah, like my personal opinion, I would say that the dungeons are like better than a couple of the early like the basic early dungeons of like a couple of the top-down Zelda games, because like that's what they're meant to be. They're just basic dungeons, like that just kind of ease you in. But like when you get to like the really like fleshed out dungeons of a lot of Zelda games, like none of the dungeons in this game really stick out to me as anything close to like the level of like, I mean, you might not agree, but like I consider the dungeons in Ocarina of Time, most of them really good. Like I don't like.
I mean, I would
any of
say
the dungeons in this game,
like especially compared to this game, Ocarina of Time's like dungeons are like a mile better.
Yeah.
Like especially all of the like once you have the time skip and you have like all of the adult dungeons, all of those, like I would even take the water temple over like these.
Ooh, that's a spicy take.
And that's
we gotta
not a
have
good
that
dungeon.
We gotta have the one like, fiery, spicy Landon take per podcast episode at least, and that might be the big one.
And I don't like Ocarina of Time as much as other people. I'm Ocarina of Time's like biggest hater,
Yeah.
but also like enjoying the game. So, yeah, the dungeons are really lacking, but the shrines and exploring the overworld like make up for that like 200 times over. It it is so fun to explore this game. And that's fine. Like there's a lot of good challenges in the overworld.
Yep. You have like
Puzzle-wise,
moblin bases,
yeah.
bosses.
Like there's a lot of good puzzles and there's a lot of good like combat that make up for the super lackluster dungeons. And I know a lot of people have issue with like the weapons and armor shields degrading over time, but the game is designed around it.
Yeah. I think it does make it tough to like start a new playthrough, but like once you get that flow state going, like it does kind of build into like, okay, this just feels good enough to play through.
Yeah. Also, you can just get the Master Sword, and while it's not always at full power, like it doesn't break. It just like loses its shine after a little bit, and then you have to let it recharge. But still,
Which, small thing, I really like how they portrayed the Master Sword in this game. I think it's really fucking cool that you go through the Lost Woods to find it.
yeah,
And it's like got like the Link to the Past style like spot where you discover it. Oh,
that's
so cool.
like a lot of stuff in this game, like really, like you were saying, like really ties into a lot of stuff like previous games did, and it's fun. Like
the
end of the
flood
day,
that.
fun game.
So yeah, Jack, stuff on Breath of the Wild.
I mean, you guys basically said it all already. I feel like we've talked about Breath of the Wild a shit ton, so I don't feel like I need to say that much. Amazing game. Overall, has a really fun and satisfying gameplay loop. It really shook up the series in an interesting and fresh way that made it feel like a new experience without totally like departing from the Zelda formula. And being something that it's not.
It's the
one of the
closest-
best.
I was going to say, it's the closest thing to Zelda 1 that we have got.
Yeah, it
As a
feels
Zelda
very. It feels very Zelda 1. Like if you had taken Zelda and then just like said, okay, what does that look like in 2017 with all of the advancements in game design that we have now? Like that's what you would get.
Yeah, I mean, what more do you need to say?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean, I mentioned I like Zelda 1, so like that's a good thing that I'm saying that. It's not a bad thing at all. So. Yeah, so that's Breath of the Wild. We talked a lot about it before, so our opinions are pretty solid on it. But following up on it, another 6 years later, we got the Nintendo Switch release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, or Tears of the Kingdom. Who knows?
Wow.
Who knows?
Big throwback.
To earlier this podcast.
Yeah.
The
Smash
brick
cut.
jokes. I love brick jokes.
Smash
but
cut
yeah.
to an Ace Attorney flashback, if you will, to earlier this podcast.
Originally released on Nintendo Switch on May 12th, 2023. And just like Breath of the Wild, as Landon was mentioning, we have a port for Switch 2 coming up. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Surprise, surprise at the name. And as we've talked about, it is the direct successor to Breath of the Wild, so it plays a lot like Breath of the Wild with the same large open world, but it is drastically changed around. You have the overworld now split between the surface, the sky, and the depths. And this is all taking place during a period that they call the upheaval. There's like Ganon's energy force, like there's like a thing called the Gloom that's like ripping apart Hyrule, and it's pretty interesting. So the shrines, they do return. You have shrines again, but they are spread throughout these 3 layers to accommodate. The major addition to this game is the Ultra Hand ability. So you can stick a bunch of things together. You can invent things that way by just like, there's a lot you can do with the Ultra Hand, honestly. Like, just a lot. But this game does have actual dungeons, we could say. We've got the dungeons including the Wind Temple, Fire Temple, Water Temple, Lightning Temple, Hyrule Castle, and the Spirit Temple. And as of the time of this podcast, the game has so far sold 21.55 million units. So actually quite a lot. So yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. The direct successor to Breath of the Wild, and it does a lot. It is Breath of the
a lot. We had a
does a lot.
review for this as well. We actually did
We
a
did.
podcast review for this.
We did.
And I would say, disregard that whole podcast. Just scrap it. Don't worry about it. Don't go back and listen to it. We're gonna have a real conversation about this game right now because it has been
Are we?
a while. I don't know. I am. You can just sit there and like not listen to me. That's fine. I'm gonna shout into the ear hole of whoever's listening to this. Probably me editing it. And now.
I'm listening.
I'm
Okay.
listening.
You guys are listening. I think overall, once again, Tears of the Kingdom is an excellent game. And I think, Cloud, you were going to say the same thing. On paper, you were saying this when you're talking about Breath of the Wild. On paper, this is an improvement over Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom is just like, it is Breath of the Wild plus, which is great. The issue is the plus is carrying a lot of weight. There's too much.
Yes.
I would say too much.
This is one of those games where like when you play video games, there's got to be a line somewhere where it's like, okay, like I don't think I'm going to be able to handle everything this game has, and you don't usually get that a lot, but this game really fucking does.
It really pushes that limit, and it passed it and kept going for a little bit. I feel for the length of a Zelda game, Breath of the Wild was like really pushing that boundary. It is a long game. If you like really want to play it, you can fucking beat Breath of the Wild and also Tears of the Kingdom pretty quick if you just like skip a lot of the stuff and you just run to the castle and like deal with the threat. You can do that.
Right.
That is part of like the enjoyment of these games, is to do that. But you lose a lot of the value of the game because a lot of the value comes from exploring the world.
Yeah, and Breath of the Wild, the way that they handle it, it's like, yes, there's quite a bit of plot, but like you could get away with skipping on it and just experiencing the game. But Tears of the Kingdom really actually has a sizable story, like a significant story to it. So if you skip through it, you are actually skipping a bunch of the experience. So it's like you said, it is so much. There's just so much, and the game really wants you to do everything as much as possible.
Yeah. Which, like, I won't lie, I am still playing this game. I actually, like, stopped playing for a bit, and I picked it back up earlier this year, and I was going to try to beat it before this podcast. But then they announced the Switch 2 version with the upgrades, and I was like, well, I might as well just wait until the Switch 2 version comes out. I'll have a free upgrade because I have the Nintendo Switch Online membership. I'll experience it then. So, yeah. I am almost done getting all the shrines. I've done 2 of the 4 like dungeons, so I still have 2 of those to go through. I think I have less than 30 shrines left to go. I've gotten all of the light routes, so I'm completely done with like doing the exploration of the depths. That is tedious. I will say they could cut the depths and
there would still be a massive game that is way bigger than any other Zelda game we've ever played.
And I'd be fine. I would prefer that. If they literally just cut the depths, they could have sprinkled some of the stuff, like some of the game elements from that into like the main world, or like the sky like islands, and it would have been fine. But like they could have like straight up cut that, and like I would have been like stoked, because the scope of the game would have like almost halved, and like then the game becomes playable almost, like you can actually proceed beating it, which is yeah.
And like I really don't want to understate it, because like not only do we have the sky, the depths, and regular Hyrule, but because of, like I mentioned earlier, there's the gloom that's like taking over Hyrule. It does make it trickier to traverse the main Hyrule. And on top of that, not only do you have these 3 layers to the world, they also like fleshed out the main Hyrule. Like there's caves now.
Yes.
There's like actual fucking pit caves.
Like
this game is so fucking big.
I fucking love the caves though, because they add that extra element of exploration that I love about Breath of the Wild. So it's like, yes, I hate that there's so much more content to like experience, because I want to experience it because it's like fun, except for like mostly exploring the depths. That's not super fun. It's, for those who don't know, the depths are a completely blacked out area. You have to turn on the lights. You like have to find a light route, turn it on, and then that'll give you a portion of the map with some light, and then you have to go explore, find the other ones. The one nice thing is all of the shrines on the surface are tied to a light route. So if you find a shrine, you know where a light route is in the depths. So you can just go there and you can turn the light on. Or the opposite. You can find a light route and you know a shrine is somewhere up above. It might be in a cave, but you can like find it. So like you can map out the world that way. That brings me to one thing that I really dislike about Tears of the Kingdom. The map system fucking sucks. You cannot filter things out. So the more you play the game, and I think this was an issue with Breath of the Wild, the more you play the game, the more cluttered your map is, the harder it is to like really know what you like, where you want to go next. And like
you can
really explore.
Like you can check a layer at a time, but like that there's so much, so you have to
Yeah.
like switch between the layers of the map, and it's so overwhelming. And I wanted to mention, when you mentioned shrines, so like this game has, I think it's about the same number of shrines as Breath of the Wild, maybe a little bit more.
It's more. It's I think it's
more?
152. They added 32 more shrines.
Yeah, that's right. So
it might
there's a
be
little
the
bit
same as like DLC, because the DLC did add some extra shrines.
not too many. I think it was only like 20 or so, like maybe. But
Okay,
even,
but it's still like
but-
pretty
so-
close to what that was for Breath of the Wild with DLC.
But my major problem is, because Tears of the Kingdom is so massive, and this is my major problem with Tears of the Kingdom, is that the shrines, despite there being a little bit more, they're so spread out. Like, the gameplay flow of Breath of the Wild to me was really fun, because like I was always finding a new shrine. And like if I didn't like come upon it, I could see it in the distance and I wanted to go there. Or like there'd be like a tower and I could see it in the distance and I wanted to go there. But like Tears of the Kingdom is so massive that those like landmark locations that you would like pace yourself with in Breath of the Wild, they're like spaced out. So the game's asking a lot of you. So if like you're not down for that, it's a tough game. But like it gives you a lot to play and chew on. But it is asking you a lot to get to all that content. So, but wrapping it back to what you were saying.
I think a big reason why I haven't returned to Tears of the Kingdom is just because of how overwhelming it all is. Like, I played a decent chunk of it. I want to say like 15, 20 hours in, and I kind of stopped one day, and I just never got back to it, because I'm like, man, there's just so fucking much in that game. It's a daunting task, because it feels like a game you're going to be playing forever.
Oh yeah.
And I put a decent chunk of time into it for what I have played, and I'll say it is fun. When I'm playing it and I'm going around the overworld and I'm just like looking around and I find a cave, I'm having the fucking time of my life. I am really enjoying it. But then when I pull myself out of the game and I like analyze what just happened, there's so much, and so it's like a constant battle of like playing the game.
Yeah, you can do like so much in that game and yet make very, very little progress.
Yeah, or at least what feels like progress, because there's like so much to do.
I looked at your Switch profile just out of curiosity. You have 125 hours in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
And 135 hours in Balatro.
So, Balatro, baby, that's the game. I'm honestly, I don't know if I'm shocked about that number in Balatro or not. It doesn't feel like I've spent 135 hours in Balatro. I'll say that, but it has felt like I've spent 120 hours in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
Overall, Tears of the Kingdom is a great game. You just have to be willing to sign up for the package of Breath of the Wild Plus. That's my take on it, at least. Like,
Yeah. I think for somebody who like doesn't play as many games as we do, because we play a lot of games, like all three of us play a lot of different games and a lot of games in general.
I try
Like,
to. At least.
If you are one of those people who plays just a few games, Tears of the Kingdom is a game that's going to keep you playing for a really long time. Like, it's like they charged $70 for this game, and it was the only Switch 1 game that they charged $70 for, and they put at least $70 worth of shit in this game.
They
I'll say that
definitely
much.
the content ratio versus dollar amount you are spending it's worth it, and then some. That's for
And
fucking
this is
sure.
And we haven't even like talked that much about the Ultra Hand ability, which is something that like opens just a fuck ton
Or
of gameplay experiences in general.
Any of the abilities, which is like I'll say I love all of like the power-ups, like the powers in this game. Ultra Hand is cool because if you're really creative, you can come up with some really cool stuff. Flat out. I never put that much time into it.
I will say, I think we as gamers have like peaked with the Ultra Hand when that one guy made like the giant stick man with the huge penis that
giant
shoots fire.
Fire penis, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
So like that is a cool ability. I love the ability to just go fucking up through shit. Like that opened a lot of fun exploration. Is just like, okay, I'm in this thing. Let me just go up and see what's up there. And like a lot of times, like you can reach new areas that you couldn't explore before. It has its limitations, but it's still like it is a cool ass fucking mechanic. The time like rewind mechanic is a lot of fun as well. So like the core abilities that you get in this game are a ton of fun and like really lend themselves to this game. But there's just so much game.
There's so much
game.
Yeah.
So I anyone who says this game is daunting, I am inclined to agree. But that said, I will beat this fucking game. I will not let this game go unbeaten. I will do it. I have all other Zelda games, all other mainline Zelda games I have beat. Except this one. This one has to be beat. So I
believe in you, Landon.
I'll do it. Switch 2, baby.
Nice.
Let's go.
Yep. All right, so we got one final game to talk about. This has been a big podcast, so let's wrap this up with The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Originally released on the Nintendo Switch on September 26, 2024. So that was last year as of the time of this podcast. And it is building upon the remake of Link's Awakening from 2019. So it's got the same engine, it's got the same perspective, same graphical style. But, plot twist, you play as Zelda instead of Link. And because of that, she has a unique gameplay mechanic where she's able to conjure echoes, which are supposed to be copies of different kinds of like inanimate objects. You can take control of it. You can make enemies and have them fight. You can use these to solve puzzles. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with the whole echo mechanic. And this game has a lot of dungeons. We've got the Suthorn Ruins, the Jabul Ruins, Gerudo Sanctum, Hyrule Castle, Elden Temple, Faron Temple, Lanayru Temple, and Null's Body, but there's also mini dungeons, there's several of them. You've got the Eastern Temple, the Wrecked Ship, Summit Cave, and Hidden Ruins. And as of the time of this podcast, the game has sold 3.19 million copies worldwide, but to be fair, that is literally just till the end of December. We don't even have updated sales figures, so that number is going to go quite a bit up next time. So this is probably going to be out of the number for that is going to be out of date by the time a lot of people might listen to this podcast, because there's going to be a report coming up in like a couple weeks, so it's going to be more. So 3.19 million copies in just like what it came out in September, so like less than 4 months.
Yeah,
so.
Less than a quarter. I believe I'm the only one who's played this game.
I have unfortunately not played
That
this
is
game.
correct.
Yeah.
I own it. I have not played it.
Ooh, I know that feeling.
Me too.
Yeah. Been there. I'm still doing that with a lot of stuff, but not this game. I fucking love this game. Like, I really enjoyed my time with this game. It like even like Kari was just like, you're just having so much fun with it, because I would just like come home and like just boot up the fucking game and like just like have a grand old time. And like it is a good mix of concepts from like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as far as like open worldness. So like also A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, which is like the world this game really like takes place in. It's not an exact sequel to either of those games, but it's like that is the Hyrule they're basing this off of. But it's open, so like they like present you like 2 or 3 dungeons at a time, and you can take those 2 in like on in anywhere you want, and then they'll have like a story event, and then there's like another set of dungeons you can explore. And I appreciate that more than being able to take on every single dungeon all at once, because there's a level of pacing for the dungeons with that. Is like, these ones are slightly easier, these ones have a little bit more challenge. And then like the final one, because it's like cut up to where I think it's from the ones that you mentioned, the first one is like the first dungeon, and then you get the next two, and then you do Hyrule Castle, and then you have the 3 temples after that, and then you have Noel's body as the final dungeon. So like that's how they cut it up, is like you get the one dungeon that's the piss easy dungeon, and then you got an option so you can explore the world a little bit, which is great because it gives you, the player, some agency. And then they're like, okay, now you have to go through this.
They funnel
dungeon.
you in.
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, now you can explore basically the rest of the world. You can go wherever the fuck you want. And then they funnel you in for like the final dungeon. So like it's like less of like one giant plateau and then a little peak, whereas it's like multiple like stepping stones. So
yeah, this does sound like a lot like a hybrid of Link's Awakening and Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So like, and you can actually explore a lot of the world once they like open the world up to you. Like I was like just going around the map, not really like doing like dungeon stuff in the first section. I was just exploring and seeing what I could find and like grabbing echoes. You can't use all the echoes at once because you do have to power up your fucking wand. But and then you can only do that by like clearing rifts, and like the major ones come from dungeons. But you can still like explore a lot of the world, see a lot of it, and like have those echoes in your back pocket. I think a lot of people would say is the biggest issue comes down to combat, because a lot of it is just like click whichever one is your strongest echo and let it fight for you. Because Zelda, outside of having like the ability to turn into Link for a little bit, like is not going to do a lot of the combat. It's going to be whatever your like highest level echo is, which means there's a little bit of like playing a waiting game, just letting something kill it. But I still enjoy like summoning 4 crows and having them attack like a fucking moblin or something, because it's fun to watch. So there's a lot of good puzzles in the game. I enjoyed that. It really comes down to like a fun world to explore, and like having like a little bit of agency in like how I want to explore the world, and that's like why I really enjoyed the game.
All right.
Yeah.
So that is all of the mainline Zelda games as of the time of us doing this podcast, obviously.
As of 2024.
Yeah. So there's going to be more games in the future, and we will revisit Zelda when we talk about the side games and spin-offs sometime. But that is all of them. Landon, do we want to do a catch-up section where we talk about what we've been up to, or do you want to cut it here? Because it has been 2.5 hours.
Despite me wanting to talk about the several games I've been playing and everything, I think we'll just save it for next time.
Okay.
Because Jack and I will have plenty to talk about when it comes to talking about our birthdays.
Yeah, true. So since they have their birthdays coming up in a couple of days as of the time of us doing this live, their birthdays are going to be in 2 and 3 days respectively. So we'll catch back up next time. So we'll have more to talk about then. So we'll roll the outro. We'll catch you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Hey, Jack, real quick.
Bye. Oh yeah, what's
Give
up?
me your 10-point plot or like 10-point review of High and Low. Thanks.
Oh, like out of 10?
No. Just like the 10 bullet points of like why High and Low is like one of the best movies ever made.
Fuck, dude. I really could, but we're
okay. Bye.
Save it for bye.
Thank you for listening to the Gaming Stooges Talks podcast. If you enjoyed us, consider subscribing to our podcast RSS feed or follow us on youtube.com/GamingStooges and twitch.tv/GamingStooges for more gaming content. If you'd like to chat with us, join our Discord. The link can be found in the episode description. We also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Your continued support means a lot to us. Not already one? Please take a look at what we have to offer anyone who becomes a patron at patreon.com/GamingStooges. See you next time!